All right, gang, after going through all the buildup with the preludes, we are now diving into Tales of the Teen Titan, issue 42. This is part one of the Judas contract. This is the eyes of Tara Markov. And finally being able to read this in its entirety, man, it is so tragic with what happens because you want to like Terra because she seems like if she hadn't been tainted, she would have been such a sweet kid, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and dive into this. The print date on this book was, I have absolutely no idea off the top of my head. I thought I looked before I hit record, but you know how it is. So we're just going to say it was sometime in the 80s. This is by Marv Wolfman. Marv Wolfman, George Pérez, and Dick Giordano. John Costanza doing the letters, Adrienne Roy doing colors, and then Marv and George, the editors. So that's kind of cool that they essentially worked on this book and they were also given the editor's privilege. Now, before we dive into this again, I remember when I bought the new animated version of the Judas contract, which is an interesting interpretation. I kind of felt like they dropped the ball a little bit, but it's still entertaining nonetheless. But anyway, Wolfman and George were talking about how they would meet up because they lived near each other in New York. So they would meet up at this little diner. And they said people had to think we were insane because we're sitting here plotting the death of a 16-year-old girl, essentially. And so it's just kind of a funny little tidbit to add to the tragedy that is Tara Markov. And we open up on Coriander, and yeah, I wasn't expecting that opening on a splash page like that, but we see perfect. We're thinking, okay, what's Corey doing here? And then we see it's Donna, and she goes, somehow I don't think anyone's going to realize you're posing for a film fest. Corey, when they see that swimsuit, half the women in America will be envious as blazes, and the other half will be out to kill you. I don't understand. Why? Is something wrong with the suit? What there is of it, you mean? You look more than wonderful. Now, if you've been kind of following me, because we've been going through Red Hood Outlaw, this is why I talk about as much as I like Scott Liddell's writing, when they did Red Hood and the Outlaws, I do not like how, because Corey used to be fun, she used to be bubbly, she was like, she was deeply in love with Dick Grayson, and it showed. But yet when they worked together, they always put their profession first. And then we go into Liddell's, and they kind of basically turned her overly sexual and just very ignorant. And I know it's supposed to be like the reimagining during the New 52, but it just, after growing up with what Coriander was here, that's why I have a personal gripe with Red Hood and the Outlaws. So anyway, you kind of see everyone starting to come together. And I love how Gar's like, yes, take it off right this second. Leash it, slime stuff. Ah, my golden beauty, come marry me and let's have 180 to 28 and a half kids together. Oh, Garfield, you're so silly. So this is your photo studio? Who do you work for, Donna? I'm strictly freelance, Terra. Let me take off and lets me take off when the Titans need me. Excuse me, I got to develop these pictures. Then we'll head out to my place. Nice studio, Donna. Mind if I look around? I want to see everything. And this is what I also liked when Wolfman and Perez were talking about creating her. They essentially said that they wanted to kind of give her this innocent look, kind of giving her the chipmunk teeth, essentially. And, she looks like your regular kid. But then when we see her with Deathstroke and she has the cigarette and she's wearing like nightgowns, it's to show this duality of her and the creepiness that is Slade Wilson. So he has contacts in, or she has contacts in, taking pictures of what the Titans, because at the beginning of the prelude, when Wally and Dick essentially cast off their original outfits, like Wally stops being Kid Flash, and Dick says that I'm no longer Robin. And what happened in reality was that DC wanted to introduce a new Robin, Jason Todd. And so the way that they did it in continuity is Dick's basically said, I've grown out of it, I need to be my own person. So he's leading the Titans, but from the sidelines, because he doesn't have a hero name yet. It's like, where do you get the bread? It's got to cost a fortune. A gift from Queen Hippolyta, Terra. She's my Amazon mother. And so Donna's getting ready to be wed to this guy, and I can never remember his name, but I love it. He's very supportive, and he just kind of, he doesn't have any powers. He's just a regular dude, but he's just a very caring individual. And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of comics lack, is like the supporting characters having empathy and becoming an integral part of the story. And even though I can't remember her husband's name off the top of my head, he was just a really cool cat whenever he'd enter, and it grounded Donna in a sense, because she's this larger life Amazon. She's marrying this dude who takes care of her, even though she can take care of herself. And he's supportive of her choices, and he considers all of the Titans friends. He doesn't feel intimidated by Dick or Vic or even Gar, for that matter. He's in there talking about bridesmaids and groom. What is the thing, guys? Bridesmaids and groomsmen. There's the word. And she goes, my stepsister, Cindy Evans, is our flower girl. And to give me away, Dick, me, I'd love to, Donna. It would be an honor. I won't have anyone else, Dick. You mean more to me than almost anybody. And then this is what I mean by, he jokes, but we know that it's in jest because every one of these characters care about one another. And he goes, Corey, shouldn't we be jealous over those two? And how about us doing some hugging and kissing? I'd rather kiss a cobra. I didn't know you were in the kinky stuff. Okay, one king cobra coming up, Logan. And so even though we know there's impending doom happening, we still kind of get the levity of the moment, and it kind of makes you forget that shit's about to go down. And what I like is how Guard does, even though he gets to be a bit abrasive and whatnot, we see that he kind of wears her down. And that reminds me of Steve Urkel. I'm wearing you down. He's like, why do you act like such a jerk all the time? What are you trying to prove? You don't care, Terra. Sure I do. What's up? Look at the rest of the Titans. They'd be successes even without their powers. Mine are just a fluke of bad luck, the side effects of a medicine designed to save my life. So you got yourself an inferiority complex, eh? Only time anyone's better than you is when you let them be. In this world, pal, you want something, you go for it. And then again, okay, so we're kind of seeing that they're growing on one another. And there's a really fun moment with Vic where he volunteers to help these kids. And they're like, go get him. He's like, what does he say? He goes, let me board, jump, or shot put, or anything like that. I just never skated. That's all. Hey, where are you traitors going? Now, Victor, come to Sarah. Sarah will teach little Vicky Wiki how to skate. That's it, Sims. You and me are, oh no, you're out. And again, Vic could level half of this city. But instead of just making this action, boom, 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 like a lot of these modern comics do, we're seeing that even though Vic, as I just said, is this powerful cyborg, half human, half cyborg, he's flawed. And it shows that even though he's athletic before he was even had these implants after what happened to him, he's still human. And it's enough to make you laugh. Thank God Logan isn't here to kind of wobbly, isn't he? Great. Just great. And so Tara's starting to see the other side of the coin. She's being Deathstroke's, I don't know exactly what they are, teammates, lovers, I don't know what they are. But she sees that everyone has this side to them. And as I mentioned, with Wally and Dick stepping away, they finally decide to reveal their secret identities to Terra. And that's what she's taking advantage of, is showing where they all live. But even though there's moments like this where they finally get to share a kiss together, he's like, Yahoo! She says, bye. Click. And I love this little panel. We get this very nice moment, thinking maybe Terra has changed her ways. But we see just this black and white photo from her lens, and then her taking the floater over to the Titans tower. Very ominous. And again, she's trying to work Raven, because Raven knows something's wrong. He goes, Lo, Raven. I said, Lo, what you doing? Praying to some Indian god or something? I am not Indian. I am from Azeroth. And this is another thing that I missed too before we get into the story. I understand kind of modernizing comics to a degree, but I hate that from maybe the New 52 onward. I hate that Raven went from just this woman that looks kind of like a goddess, essentially. Now she's this young, gothy teenage girl. It just, to me, that kills the vibe. Now, Teen Titans Go, that was okay. That was kind of funny that she was this angsty chick, because that was made for kids. But in the comics, whenever each solo issue they made of her, I don't like this goth kid Raven. It just, kills everything that Wolfman and Pérez set up for her and why she was such a fan favorite, along with everyone from the Titans during this period. She goes, yeah, I heard. Say, how come you never hear me talk? You're the only one I don't really know. I have always sensed corruptness in you, a feeling of inner evil. You think I'm some kind of spy or something? And it just showing her ass right out the gate. Tara Markov, I do not know what to think. At times, my father's evil overwhelms me and my empathetic powers become useless. Is it Trigon's evil? Is it an evil being living within me? I do not know. If I were certain of my feelings, I would have informed the Titans months ago, but I will not accuse anyone when I cannot be certain of myself. Now please leave. I must continue to control my feelings. Okay, I'm going. And don't take any wooden karmas, which I'm saving you for myself. Now, there's supposed to be a moment. And again, okay, I love this splash page. So again, we get another kind of moment of levity. Vix, they're having their training session, and Vix basically is saying, turn up the pressure on this machine. He goes, all 4.5 tons of it. Increase magnetic pull to 5 tons. I'm going for the record. He can't carry that weight, can he? Vic, the cardiograph shows you're overextending yourself. I'm decreasing. Don't. I got to do this. Increase. We're here testing our powers, not making excuses for them. He goes, had to prove there was more to me than a metal shell. You're looking like I flipped my capacitors. When I was just Vic Stone, athlete, I kept pushing myself till I was one of the best. I was able to increase my strength. I was able to make changes in myself. But since I became this cyborg, I kept feeling I was only what the machine part of me allowed me to be. I had no ability to affect myself. So again, we have these fantastic heroes. And in the midst of all this drama, we get to see the human side of them. Corey and Donna sparring. And then this is where the book gets really hard, because then it's Logan versus Terra. And even though they've shared a moment, Gar, in a sense, has enough, because Terra's been talking shit to him nonstop. Show me up, you crummy little green-faced freak. Logan, I'm going to mash you into mud balls. Only if you can catch me, sweet face. Ta-ta. One peregrine falcon to order, complete with new miracle wings from Ronco. To save me with. And he starts to squeeze her. He goes, let go of me, you skin-crawling little maggot. That's Mr. Skin-crawling maggot to you, ma'am. Give me a kiss and I'll let you go. I'd sooner kiss a Wookiee. That's out of my range. How about a cobra again? You like pandas? I'm great with pandas. And she just lets her power go. And while all this is happening, again, Raven, Garfield, I fear you are making a mistake with that one. Whatever you do, do not antagonize her. The hatred I now sense is almost overwhelming. And so even though we've got all these moments to kind of laugh, we start to see her colors, her true colors, start to slip to the point that she just about kills Gar. And they did this in the animated version, but not as well. Because then she goes, when you first found me, I was being held by terrorists. They did everything to make my life miserable. They put me down, frightened me, humiliated me. And when Gar kept taunting me, I snapped. Wasn't attacking him. I was trying to kill those terrorists. And look at how she starts to sweat bullets. You got to believe me. She looks at Raven. You guys are my friends. Maybe the only ones I'll ever have. I'd never do anything to hurt you. Please believe me. And then I love how we go, Raven, Terra, Raven, Slade. You made a grievous mistake, Terra. And this is what I mean we go from the pipsqueak little kid to this. It's like, don't sweat it, honey. They believed my story, didn't they? Which only proves what kind of idiots they are. Terra, my dear, I've told you this before. Never underestimate your enemy, especially these titans. They're top professionals. They're nothing, honey. Only one we ought to watch out for is Raven, and I'm claiming her for myself. And we come to find out that the whole thing of the Judas contract is not Slade essentially having a personal vendetta against the Titans, because he respects them. But he says, be that as it may, you've done your job well. My files are complete. And the contract which my son Grant accepted with Hive, and which upon his death I assume will now be complete. Because when they first introduced Deathstroke back in Teen Titans issue 2, his son Grant was working for Hive and was supposed to take out the Titans, and he essentially died. And so Deathstroke does, in a sense, have a vendetta, but at the same time, it's business. And that's just because he's become a mercenary, for lack of a better term. And as we come closing to a book, of the book, sorry, I haven't had enough coffee today, we see these eyes saying, Sladen, it's been a long time, but not long enough for you. And so, guys, there's a lot to unpack in this issue. And you have these emotional ups and downs like you should with a good story. And everything within this book delivers. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop, and if you can, get the trade or the single issues, because I myself love to have the original history in my hands. And if you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate taking a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little Titan bell next subscribe, that was where you can upload content. You guys get notified. Come to the channel. We love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.